Hi, I'm Karen Darke, and here I share the first in a series of blogs I will be putting together over the coming weeks as we all face a new challenge. The world has been turned inside out with the arrival of COVID-19, and we're faced with uncertainty, but it's likely that life as we knew it will never be the same again. I'd like to present a different perspective, one that my life as a kind of modern day explorer has given me. Many are likening this to being at war, but I prefer to see it as a classroom, as I do the adventures and journeys that I take. I think this is a chance to learn, to grow, to re-evaluate how we've been living and change course for a direction more aligned with our true selves and the health of our planet. To be an explorer. Before the reality of COVID-19 had hit, I wrote a blog about exploration. I never got around to posting it, but now it seems more pertinent than ever. So here I'm sharing an updated version. Navigating the rollercoaster of daily life has distracted me lately. I've had bladder surgery to remove 2 large stones after a stint of infections. I've been rearranging my diary as work plans were gradually being cancelled due to the emergence of a new virus. And I've been trying to stay focused on training with the increasingly doubtful possibility that the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics might still go ahead. It might just be the stuff of life, but it's this stuff that derails us all too often from peace and space as we try our best to be our best and keep up with our over-busy, ever-faster world. When not derailed, I find peace in exploring, outside and in, to adventure toward boundaries. After all, where on earth do they lie? We know but a fraction of how the universe works, how we as humans interact with this vast unknown, the workings, abilities and potential of our own minds, bodies and spirits. I sometimes describe myself as an explorer. It's a word that conjures images of someone venturing into unknown territory, perhaps by sail, foot or skis, someone discovering new lands. Explorer is a job that never showed up in our school's career service list of suggested jobs. I matched with fireman or photographer. In 1904, the Explorers Club was founded in New York to bring together eminent explorers and scientists. Feeling dismissed because it was an all-male organisation, a group of intrepid women set up the Society of Women Geographers in 1920. To celebrate this, a decade later, a Far travel magazine have reinvented an all-female travel society, where I am surprised to be included, and if I'm honest, a little ashamed to be listed with Greta Thunberg, given the level of travel I participated in. From Arctic and Antarctic exploration, air and space travel, to campaigning for protection of land and climate, the last century of exploration has been about looking out at our external world. However, the crises we face in the 2020s are rather different than those of the 1920s. In most of the world, we are not fighting for women to vote or venture beyond the domestic sphere. We're beyond figuring out what continents lie where, or whether the earth is flat or round. We are instead struggling to make sense of the climatic, political, consumption-focused chaos of our densely populated world. And now with a virus strain that threatens our very existence. Perhaps it is time for a different type of exploration. In these times, the explorer in me has a foot in 2 camps. One to explore the traditional way, to discover other lands and cultures and the external world, but I also love to explore the internal world. Life has taught me to look within, and largely thanks to the trauma of spinal cord injury and the challenges it brings at times, I can find as much adventure and discovery during weeks spent largely alone in a small room as I can cycling across a continent. it will prove very useful in these weeks of lockdown. In 2020, the old explorer in me has been planning the last of the Quest 79 journeys, a series of cycle rides across the 7 continents. The last journey is to be to Antarctica to create the pole of possibility. The vision is to inspire many on what is collectively possible when people, passion, and purpose come together. I've learned through these journeys and my companions on them, most of them entering totally new terrain for themselves, that stepping into new territory and being brave enough to change ourselves impacts the people around us, the communities we are part of, and in turn, that can change the world, heart by heart, step by step. Simultaneously, the new explorer in me is focused on journeying within. I'm discovering more deeply than ever how each of us can rewire our brain and recondition our body and change our world from the inside out. I'm fascinated with exploring our ability to heal, to ignite the potential within us for abilities and possibilities we may barely be able to imagine. I believe we can change our energy, transmute disease, and create wellness for ourselves if we pursue practical ways of reducing stress and pay careful attention to the thoughts we have and the emotions that we attach to them. This is so relevant now that our medical systems can barely cope. Systems that under normal conditions are incredible at managing medical trauma, but that lack solutions for chronic conditions. If exploration of the 1920s and since has been externally focused towards new horizons and outer space, perhaps exploration of the 2020s and forwards calls to combine our outward knowledge with exploring inwards, towards understanding how we can change and influence our reality and our world from within. Today with COVID-19, we are suddenly all explorers pushing into new territory. We may experience pain and trauma. In the old explorer world, it could be analogous with long days trekking in extreme cold with little food across a frozen, unknown continent, not knowing what will happen from one hour to the next. But we will also experience moments of clarity, peace, and maybe an unfathomable appreciation of what is unfolding, like an explorer in the depths of uncertainty, pausing to take in a new horizon or a soul-moving sunset. In unknown territory, the degree to which we resist the reality of our new world and wish for things to be different will influence our degree of suffering. With social distancing, we have an opportunity. There is time and permission and space to recover, to reflect, reconnect, reset, and re-emerge in a new way. We can recognise patterns in ourselves and our society that need to change. Busyness, stress, separation, limitation. We can let down old ways of thinking, break old habits and ways of being, and open up to new possibilities for ourselves and the world we live in. Perhaps this is an opportunity to discover how we can change ourselves inside to change our world outside. An explorer needs to be prepared for the unexpected, to be resilient, adaptable, to live in the moment and let go of fear about the future. An explorer finds freedom and peace in the fact that things are changing and unfolding, letting go of futile worry about what will happen tomorrow. An explorer needs to trust and rely on teammates. A we are in this together and we will get through this together approach. An explorer always needs to pack some vital ingredients, and it's usually not toilet roll or baked beans. Here is my favourite packing list. Number 1, courage. We have to be bold and brave in facing new horizons and willing to embrace the unknown, to face what feels like disaster or trauma, but trust that ultimately we will arrive in a better place. Number 2, inspiration. We can be inspired by the experience of others. In the case of COVID-19, that may be the Chinese, the Italians, the medics, those on the front line, but also by anyone you know who has lived through trauma or difficult times or has experience in resilience. Number 3, sweat. We have to work hard, take a break for a short while, but there is work to do here to stay mentally, physically, emotionally and economically sane and healthy, or to stand for what we believe in or feel passionate about, to do things we may previously have put off. Number 4, love. Despite the isolation, we can connect now more than ever on a different, deeper, heartfelt level with other amazing humans, supporting each other through this challenge, pulling together with the tools that technology allows us to, and expecting that surprising things will be possible. Thank you so much for listening to or reading this first blog, and over the coming weeks I'll share one a week, each with a theme that I hope will be useful for you in your life at this time. Each theme has been a gift that I have learned from each of the Quest 79 journeys, so if you stay tuned, I'll be taking you on a virtual travel experience exploring both outside and inside. Next week, the Golden Way, which was my journey to the Rio Paralympic Games, and the topic of beliefs.